All right. Well, first, happy Black History Month. My name is Liz Smith, and I'm here with 2190 to chat with none other than this award-winning on-air talent, entertainment journalist, content creator, and podcaster who is known for her work as a contributor on NBC's primetime morning show, Today Show, and now her nationally syndicated Urban One radio show and podcast. More Than That with Miss Gia Peppers. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much, Liz, for doing this. You look beautiful, honey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You do as well. Congratulations on this past weekend. I know you were busy with the Grammys and you looked great. You looked so good doing
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. I'm trying to recover my voice. So if you hear any scratchiness, that's why.
No problem at all. Okay, before we get into the interview, I do want to play a quick icebreaker game with you. It's called Journalism's Do's and Don'ts. Okay. So arrive to the red carpet an hour to 30 minutes before it opens, do or don't?
Before the call time for the press check-in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, don't. I would say maybe arrive 15 to 20 minutes early so you can see parking. If you need coffee, if you need something to take with you to the carpet, if you need a water, sure. An hour, you're just gonna be sitting there standing because they literally not gonna be ready for you.
There you go. All right. Do create a reel or only rely on social media?
Create that reel. No one's going to take you seriously in the majors, without a reel. Social media is great. Always use it, but it's way more effective to have both, but especially the reel.
There you go. All right. Do you have an updated LinkedIn or not?
Now, because I haven't updated my LinkedIn in so long, but I really should, because LinkedIn apparently is very popping again. Like there was a minute there where LinkedIn was giving corporate. So I have done little updates. I say update your LinkedIn because apparently it's a thing again.
There we go. Okay, and last one. Heels while covering the red carpet or no?
Heels to walk and take your pick before you start reporting. Yes. Put them flats on because you're just about to be standing there and you're not walking. You're not there to be a celeb that day. Put them flats on, save your feet.
There we have it. See, that was fun and that was good. You're giving some gems. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Right. Now, to pop off the conversation, I do want to first ask, did journalism choose you or do you feel that you chose it?
I think journalism chose me. I think storytelling and entertainment chose me. When I was growing up, my mother told me that I was really not the kid that you could put in timeout, because I would be in my room hosting talk shows with my dolls and stuffed animals. And even back to when I was literally 2 months old, my dad took me into the newsroom. My dad's a journalist as well, hard news journalist, and has been for his whole career. He took me into the newsroom at NPR where he was working at the time. And he came back and he was telling my mom about his day. My parents were super cute, like little 90s parents, that my dad had the big old camera and would record everything. And he was retelling our day to my mom. And he told her yep, Gia just went in the newsroom and told everybody she wants to become a broadcast journalist. And so little did we know that would literally be the absolute truth about how my life would unfold. And I'm so grateful I have that video, because I totally believe that journalism, creativity, storytelling, entertainment, using my gifts and talents, that it was all meant to be.
For sure. And you were speaking life over yourself before you even knew what that was. So we love that. That's beautiful.
Hello, Dad was. I was like, amen. Come on in here. 2 months.
That's super dope. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say congratulations on season 3 of More Than That podcast. I am so happy for you. We know that More Than That won Adweek's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Podcast of the Year award last year. And I know you're going to take home a lot more awards this year. We're claiming it. But
I claim it.
I definitely have to ask you, we hear a lot of times, a lot of people say the podcast space is so oversaturated. It's full of gossip, but we know that More Than That is totally not that. In what ways do you believe that your podcast is set apart from the others?
Wow, that's such a great question. And thank you for that question. I do believe that the podcast game is a little it's heavy. I don't know that it's oversaturated because we all have people who look up to us and are looking for how we feel on things. It is the only space where you can give full context to anything that came out of social media. You cannot ever give full context in a tweet. You cannot ever give full context. You can try in a post, but like even if you give a post, you can never tell your whole life story. In podcasts, you can literally explain a story for an hour and every in and out, and like you can do that. And so I do think podcasting is important because even if your mama and her 4 friends listen, in 20 years, your kids can listen to how you felt in that moment.
Right.
Like, I think that's fire. Like, people in history where we only had certain retellings of one aspect of a war or a historic moment, they can literally go to the date and be like, someone talked about how COVID, they can go back to March 2020 and find hundreds of podcasts of how people felt about the entire world shutting down and how we thought it was only going to be 2 weeks, and be like, we actually have a record of this young person who was in the middle of Times Square when they, you know what I'm saying? Like there is that. So I don't believe that, if you have the call to do a podcast, that you should feel like it's too deeply, saturated, because you never know how that little snapshot in time will serve you in the future. So I say do it. You might not do it forever, but at least do it, try it, see what happens. Our podcast is different because we are very intentional. We're intentional with what we talk about because we understand that we are serving our community in a way that is very, very rare. We are in 104 radio markets across the country. We are also a podcast. So we run a huge scale of ages. My mama still listens to the radio every day. My dad does too. Do my brother and sister? Not so much. I listen to the radio every day because I grew up in radio and I know radio so well. And I kind of love I love hearing people talk about like the daily events while I'm driving and then give me a song or whatever. Like I like that. So we understand that we have a purpose to share information that will help people live their lives in a new way when it comes to wellness, when it comes to social justice, when it comes to unpacking these huge ideas that we see on our timelines or on TikTok, or all these things that really came up in the middle of 2020, when we were like reparations, social justice, climate change, healthcare, the Black maternal mortality rate, like all these big ideas. We wanted a space where we could personalize and humanize them and have experts who understood what was going on, and then have like business and community leaders and even celebrities who really just are passionate about using their platform to enhance people in that way too. And so we have a beautiful marriage of authentic storytelling that adds to people's lives. And not that shade and drama. Look, there's a space for it all. But I am grateful to be a part of a show that really, when you listen to it, you think about things in a different way and you learn something that you never really knew. And it's only 20 minutes, right? So it's not like a show that's going to take your whole time. It could be like your commute to work. Now that we are back in person, your commute to work, listening to things, and you can find a whole new world and discover a whole new perspective about a topic by listening to this show. And you can even do your own research, because we also give show notes and share where we are citing these sources. So you can, if you really are inspired, can do your own research. So I love the show because I know that it adds a whole new level of thought and expression and perspective to people's daily lives.
I love that. Now, I know last season you had a lot of amazing people on there, and I learned a lot of gems. It's something that I would turn on in the morning before I'm getting ready for work, or, while I'm making my coffee. So I definitely appreciated that. Who can listeners expect to see on season 3? And which one would you think, or would you say is your favorite episode?
Well, we are still in production. So we are still like having a whole lot of people, come on, that I can't really talk about because we got to make sure the ink is dry. But Erica Campbell was just on, and we know our good sis Erica is almost like a superhero. She's a mom, she's a wife, an author, New York Times bestselling author, a businesswoman a Grammy Award winning artist, a first lady of a church, and a daily morning show radio host. Like, and I'm always in awe at how she handles it all. And so one of our episodes is about having it all. And we talked to her about how she manages that, what she does when she feels overwhelmed, her support system. We also had on Tina Meeks, who's a content creator, and she also was a mom and a wife and just a super dope human being. And I wanted to have that episode because my mom, I watched her have it all and juggle it so beautifully and so gracefully. And so I wanted to talk to women about how they're doing it today. And we had a great talk. And so Erica's one of my favorite guys. We also had DJ Envy on talking about family legacy. He is talking about financial legacy, right? DJ Envy, we all know, loves the finer things in life from him. But we see him on the Breakfast Club. Charlamagne always calling him out, talking about how he, got a new whip or something like that. And that can seem flashy to some people, but on the other side of it, it's also like, now, how did you take a DJ gig and years of DJing and selling mixtapes and turn it into a multi-faceted empire that has dozens of real estate properties, car shows that are regional, sold out every year, touring, hosting, traveling, writing books. Now he's in movies. Like, what does that really look like? And then we also had an expert on named Dr. Sories, who gave us the real tips, like the actual methods you should be following to gain generational wealth and financial wellness for yourself. And so we're doubling down on, just wellness and growth in all aspects. But can you hear that horn?
Mm-mm.
Oh, child, somebody outdoor my window, like really just laying there, like
I can't hear anything at all.
But yes, we are doubling down on that. I'm really excited about the Erica Campbell and DJ Envy episodes for sure. But David Banner was so great, and Carrie Champion was so great on episode 1. Like, definitely check that out. They talked about HBCUs, and it's just dope to be able to talk to people that you've always wondered about, like wanted to talk to, and then they're just as cool in person. So I love
that. I love that. And with More Than That podcast and with the guests, you're really highlighting Black media, Black journalists like yourself, people that we need to hear from. And Black content, period. It's so important and it's truly needed. So what changes do you hope to see for Black media as a whole in 2023?
Yeah. I love that our show has Dentsu because we feel supported. And not only does it support our show and our staff and pay them what they're worth and, pay people in ways that makes them feel like they're not being taken advantage of. They also make sure that there are millions of dollars pushed back into Black owned radio. I think that's so important. I started again in Black owned radio, and I understand the importance of radio regionally. Like, we might not hear what's going on at a DC station, but to the people in that community, it really matters to know what's going on. They still are a major place of consumption of information, knowledge, funny stories, hilarious, like just what's happening in our local communities. That really, really still matters. And so I hope that Black media feels more supported from other major brands. I hope that the success of More Than That can be a North Star for more major brands to really fund our online publications. I want to see more funding for all of those properties that consistently call out, how these ad dollars are spent. I think it's really important that we continue to do that until we see a change. And there are dozens of More Than That's and dozens of places that feel like, we have great partners and people who want to show up authentically for the consumer base that is always going to be a leader in the world, because we know how to spend some coin on our side. Hello. So spend it back, invest it in us, show us that you care by putting that dollar back into the places that are telling the stories that are helping us really be pushed forward. And so I want to hear all about those success stories. I'm hoping that More Than That can show these major brands that not only does partnering with our community matter, but like reinvesting in our community matters as well, especially in the spaces that are authentically telling our stories and telling them in ways that'll add to people's lives.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Now, you talked about community, and I have to ask you, what do you believe the Gia Peppers brand represents for your community?
Whew. I believe that the Gia Peppers brand represents that you can absolutely do whatever it is you're called to do, and you can do it with kindness and grace, and you could do it with hustle, and but
Yeah.
most importantly, you could do it with faith.
Yes. Yes.
You've got to believe in something bigger than yourself. And I would not be who I am, where I am, what I am without God. And I really always am going to be that girl that talks about God. And it's just because it's just how I was raised, but it's also just who I am. It's the most
Right.
important thing I do every day is pray and journal and like just
Right.
talk to God. And I know that my career, I don't have an agent. Like I've never had an agent before. Like all of this is the Lord. And when I
God,
finally
right.
do get my
Literally,
agent,
God is your agent. Yes.
yeah, like, and when I finally do get my agent, they're gonna be like, what? I'm like, yeah, like, so like I for me am always gonna give the glory back. That's really important to me. And I also hope that people feel like they can be themselves. And I hope little Black girls for sure can feel that they deserve to take up space. They deserve to be seen, they deserve to be heard.
Yeah.
They do not have to look like every expectation of what society thinks.
Yes.
But I hope that we can that I hope that people just feel a little more seen, a little more heard, a little more valued when they come in contact with my brand and inspired to go for what they really want to do.
For sure. Look, I could speak on behalf of so many little brown Black girls that you are definitely refreshing, a breath of fresh air. Watching you just do what you do is just so inspiring. And it's like you can truly be yourself. You can have class and do it. You could be cool and do it, and
Yeah.
and you're a professional, and that's
Yeah.
also what I just truly appreciate. And I know so many of us look up to you and inspire to just be able to trail our own journey just like Miss Gia Pepper. So thank you for all of your work that you've done. Let everyone know how they can follow you, keep up with you, and stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz, for that. I
Yes.
received that and I'm really proud of you. This was a great interview and I love your energy. You have a
Thank
great
you.
presence on camera, honey. So keep going.
Thank
Um,
you.
And you can follow me at Gia Peppers on all socials. And More Than That is at More Than That Show on socials or morethan that show.com. So thank you so much for this interview.